Christian, let's get to the Detroit Lions, man. Very curious to see what's going on over there. I know last time we talked, you guys had just hired your offensive coordinator. I tried to make you feel a little bit better about Petzing being there, but it didn't seem to work too well. Either way, I know that there's a lot of movement potentially happening with the Detroit Lions this offseason as well. Just talk to me overall about some of the coaching changes that you guys had, Petzing included, and then we'll get into the rest of it here.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was like Armand. I didn't know who he was, so I definitely had to Google him. I think I said that before, and then going to go pick up the Giants interim head coach to fill the high offensive role as well. That threw me off because I'm like, I got to see who he is as well. But it's gonna sound crazy. Like the one thing we got to kill when we got to address his mindset, because going from first to fourth, you going backwards. And it's like, yeah, you gotta figure this stuff out, man, because a couple years ago you were this close to making the Super Bowl, and then you just, laid an egg, unfortunately, in the second half to the 49ers. But then it's like, okay, well, what we gotta do to get better? And then you just Brad Holmes just keeps re-signing these injured players, and you just brought Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Pascal back, and I was just like, man, like you got to kill this mindset off, y'all. Like, I'm not sure if you like in love with these players or something. It's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep bringing these guys back. It's like, look, like you try to fill roster spots, man. You could just come pick me up, and I can just hold the bench. I got no problem with it. Pay me a couple $1 million. I easily do it, and I'll never play on the field. Never worry about getting tackled or tackle anybody. You could definitely pay me a couple million to do that. But as far as everything else, like I said, the coaches I really didn't know, but I was like, I honestly gonna lie, I asked this Cardinal fan, like, how do you feel about him being gone? They're like, I love it. He sucked. I was just like, oh my god, like I'm kind of drained, but I also got to see it. I'm more a visual person. I got to see it with versus James Conner. You now got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Even they was talking about, yeah, he's talking about snatching souls. That's going to be something that was really good. So I was like, yeah, that really sounds like a Dan Campbell guy, but it's just still just more how you guys going to match together, because everybody's just like, yeah, it's always going to work out. It's always going to work out. But we thought the same thing with John Moore. We thought the same thing with Anthony Lynn. So we really just got to see what these key places are going to do, especially with these coaches, because unfortunately, I think I said this as well. Unfortunately, I feel like the people that we're starting to pick up are picked up before are definitely are starting to get a little vocal, not buying into the Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes regime anymore. I think that's the part we messed up, because I believe I said it before. These guys at one point in time, you never seen them go on social media. You never seen them talking about how disgruntled they were. You never really heard anything the first couple of years that Dan Campbell was there. But this year, you guys heard a lot about the decision making and everything going on. So I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on with that either. It's like, you guys got to kill this mindset off. You guys got to go back to that grind, that hustle, that real grit that everybody was talking about. And it's just like, come on, guys, you got to get back there. So that's one thing I would say that needs to change as far as the coaching and just the mindset of everybody in the Lions organization. Excuse me.
Well, listen, I know that you guys are a little bit behind in the salary cap. I believe you guys are about $8 million over the cap right now, but a lot of movement could happen. So give me some players that you think do need to be re-signed, maybe restructured, extended, or just flat out cut.
So big shout out to those for not only giving me this invite, for also just like having me look something up. So I definitely looked it up, because the salary cap I really didn't understand. But you're talking about Jared Goff, as well as St. Brown need to be restructured. That way it save you some money. Unfortunately, letting Taylor Decker go, letting Graham go will also save you some salary cap, but you also have to be willing to spend it on players. So I will restructure. I'm restructuring Goff. I'm restructuring Brown. I'm letting Taylor Decker go. I'm letting Sam Glasgow go. It seemed like every year they let Dan Skipper go, but unfortunately he ended up retiring, so you don't have to restructure his. But that's one thing you have to address at the offensive line and really put money into it. And the players I cut, the same players I just talked about, they just pick back up. Like, I'm not paying back Josh Pascal. I'm not doing it. It's like, oh, well, maybe you could trade him. It's like, no, man. He's been around for years and been injured for years. So you're not getting not even a 7th round for him. Levi Onwuzurike, still coming back. You're not getting anything off of him. Like, we keep going through these, like, like boom or bust players, but the players are just bust, and it's not going to work. So you have to stop re-signing these injured players and just let them go, and then try to address that maybe in free agency or the draft. So those 2 players I will let go.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. What, Jared Goff about 40 million, Amon-Ra St. Brown 21 million, Aleem McNeil 17 million. I mean, you guys can free up a crap ton of money right here. You cut Decker, to your point, that's almost 11 million. So you guys have a lot of flexibility. I will say that's one thing that you guys have done a good job of. Well, let me ask you this. Top 3 positions of need, in your opinion, as you guys enter the offseason here?
Offensive line, most definitely, because we see that the reason why we are 4th, the reason why we did make it to the playoffs, the reason why we were 9-8 and 4th in our division is because of the offensive line. You've seen that with a halfway decent line, Jared Goff can make it work, but that's definitely number 1. Number 2, you got to give Aiden Hutchinson some help, whether it's in free agency or in the draft. That's definitely something else you need to get, because you need to get somebody on the side of Hutch that can actually make plays, because as you see, like, I know it's going to start a debate, but you see Aiden Hutchinson, he's being triple team, double team. It's just like you just kind of essentially just take him completely out the game. They were saying about they do the same thing with Micah Parsons. So it's like you just take him out the game when you trip him like that. It's like, okay, who's going to pick up the slack? And we don't really have the other person that's going to pick up the slack when that happens. So it's just like we have to figure that out. And also, it's crazy as it sounds, because you have 2 good safeties, but you also got to address safety, because you're not really sure what's going on with Kirby. I hope everything's good, but you don't know if that's going to be once again, the same thing with the injuries. Also, how's Brian Branch looking? Because I like him as a player. I definitely think he's impactful. I think he's good, but the thing is, his contract is coming up as well, and you're going to have a bunch of money, so it's like his injury is going to start catching up. You guys are going to be willing to pay him? Are you guys going to be willing to address this situation? Because you see when once again, I'm name dropping. Terrion Arnold, I think Amik is probably about to be gone. And you just keep throwing the ball over Terrion Arnold's head, it's just going to be just air raid on these Lions, and we're just going to go back to the bottom again. And don't want that to happen.
Well, to your point, I mean, injuries have been a major issue over there. Maybe you guys got a substation, just kind of like what we do over there, a little electrical station by the field. You might want to look into that. I heard that there's an issue there with the 49ers. But listen, you guys, to your point, tons of injuries. It sucks, because to your point, you also have very good safeties, but they're both injured. Achilles injury, that's not great. Brian Branch looked like an absolute superstar. How does he recover? Plus, you got to pay him. So you got to be forward thinking, looking at these positions that maybe you thought were solidified and solved for. So very curious to see what happens with the Detroit Lions this offseason as well. Over at Sleeper, get a 100% deposit match when you use promo code RTS. They are the fastest growing fantasy app out there. And I've got some more or less picks that I've made here for the Super Bowl. I put 10 down to win 135.90, and here's the picks for the Super Bowl. I got Mac Hollins coming in barefoot with 28.5 receiving yards. I'm taking the more on that. I got Ramondre Stevenson with more on 39.5 rushing yards. That one was basically like a free pick. I got Kenneth Walker scoring an anytime touchdown. Rashid Shaheed needs just 2 receptions. By the way, if you're a complete degenerate, Rashid Shaheed is plus 3,000 to be MVP. I don't know. Maybe he gets a kick return, a couple big explosive plays. Might want to look into that one. And then JSN with the more on 94.5 receiving yards. Those are the picks. $10 to win 135.90. You can tail us or you can fade us, but either way, use promo code RTS and Sleeper. Link is pinned to the top of the chat.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable, live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network, covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.